At the start of the drama, we see the female lead, Ching. She comes to the male lead, Chen, angrily and says, "Are you making fun of me?" Now, Chen does not say much and gives Ching her birthday gift. Then, Ching tells Chen about her salary and property and says, "I have all these things, so if you agree, then let's get married." Anyway, the scene cuts right here, after which a scene from 5 days ago is shown where we see Ching working in her office. Here, seeing Ching, a middle-aged lady staff member says to another staff member named Zhang Yu, "Look, Ching has gone so far ahead, she has become a customer manager. You should learn something from her." Later we see that Ching has come to a place. She is talking to a person named Mr. Zhou on the phone while taking measurements of that place. Just then, a door opens and Chen comes out. He asks, "Who do you want?" So Ching says, "Which one is Chen Lianji's house?" Chen says, "The house on the opposite side is his." After saying this, Chen leaves from there. Then Ching goes into a house located there and says, "My friend sent me here. I want to buy some tea leaves." Then Ching goes inside the house, and the lady of this house offers tea to Ching. Just then, Chen comes there and has some normal conversation with this lady. Then this lady tells him to sit and goes inside. Anyway, after this, Ching offers tea to Chen. Further, Ching says, "I am a bank customer manager. If you ever need a loan, you can contact me on WeChat." To this, Chen only says, "Bank employees keep their hair tied, right?" Anyway, then the lady of this house returns and Ching says to her, "Your husband took a loan from the bank and you signed the contract as a guarantor. So, now I have come to you regarding that matter." So that lady says, "If he has run away with a loan, what can I do?" Ching says, "Whatever the case, the signature on the contract is yours." Further, Ching tells this lady, "I will take your different properties as mortgage," which scares the lady. Then Chen says, "This is rural land, so it cannot be taken as mortgage, nor can it be taken to an auction." Then Ching says, "I will take the lantern present here." So Chen says, "What will happen by taking a handmade lantern? Nowadays, work is done by machines only." Now Ching starts getting angry at this. The next day, Ching again goes to that lady's house to do her work. Now the lady comes there, looks at Ching, and goes to her, saying, "Do not come like this. Let's do not give a woman so many problems." Now, while saying all this, the lady catches Ching's hand. And in all this, an ancient material accidentally falls down due to Ching's push. Now the lady says to Ching, "You do not have to compensate me for this. Just make it so that I do not have to repay the bank loan." Anyway, later Ching goes in front of Chen's house and opens a window, and suddenly the gold dust kept on the table starts flying in the air. This scene is very beautiful. Anyway, somehow Ching tries to talk to Chen, but here Chen does not give her much attention. Later we see Chen Lianji and the lady who offered tea to Ching. Actually, this lady is Chen Lianji's wife. Now this lady gives some money to her husband, and just then, Ching arrives there. Then, a fight starts between Ching and Chen Lianji because Chen Lianji took a loan from the bank which he has not repaid. Just then, our male lead Chen comes and saves Ching. Anyway, later everyone goes to the police where Chen Lianji's wife gives all the money she brought to Ching. But Ching sees that behind one note it is written, "Chen Lianji, buy clothes for yourself with this money." Now, seeing this, Ching becomes a little emotional. Then she goes to Chen and returns that money but also says, "I am not doing any favor by returning this money, but I am afraid that if this money was earned in an illegal way, then some issue might be created because of this loan. That is why I am returning this money. You return this money to Chen Lianji's wife." Now here Chen thinks, because Ching's heart is a little soft, she has done this. Later we see that it is Ching's birthday, but no one personally wishes her a happy birthday. On top of that, she is already very stressed because of work. Just then, Chen calls her, but Ching's was so stressed that she says to him, "Why did you call me? Do we both even know each other well?" Anyway, after a while, Ching realizes something and goes straight to Chen's house. And here we see the same scene of this drama that was shown to us at the start of the drama. Ching says to Chen, "Will you marry me?" But Chen says, "You probably misunderstood something. You gave me a broken pendant to fix. I called you to give that back." Now hearing this, Ching says, "Does that mean you do not feel anything for me? Fine. Then this will be even easier." Saying this, she kisses Chen and then leaves straight from there. Then after going some distance, Ching starts crying. She messages a friend, "Can you come to pick me up today?" So that friend replies, "I am busy with some work today." And then Ching sits on the stairs and starts crying. Then Chen comes here and says to her, "I will drop you home." Now Ching says to him, "Do I seem like a random girl to you who can be easily slept with? What do you think?" Anyway, after this the scene cuts, and we see that Chen is taking Ching on his old worn-out bike. Then at one place, Chen drops Ching. After this, Ching books a taxi and returns to her home. Here, her roommate brings a cake for her and wishes her, "Happy birthday!" Anyway, later we see Chen and Ching where Chen gives a painting to Ching. Ching says, I am not going to sell this painting. So Chen says, why? What is the matter? Now Chen has come here to sell this painting. But then Ching says, I am taking this as a dowry. And hearing this, Chen is surprised. Later we see Chen in his garden where he is feeding some small puppies. Here we see that he has a lot of love for these puppies in his heart, and in this way, we get to see his soft side. On the other side, Chen Lianzi's wife comes and gives the money she earned to Ching to repay the loan. So Ching is also happy about this. Here, Chen's grandpa is admitted to the hospital, and he says to Chen, I am not finding that painting. Please bring it. After this, Chen runs out of the hospital because now the painting is with Ching. So when Chen goes to take the painting from her, Ching says, but this is my dowry. Anyway, then Ching smiles and says, I am joking, take this painting. And just then Chen says, let's get married. And hearing this, Ching is left surprised. Later we see that Chen and Ching have gotten married. And immediately Chen asks Ching, can I have that painting? So Ching says, did you marry me for that painting? Anyway, after this, Ching ignores this matter and gives the painting to Chen. Then she says, I will be able to go to your garden house only on weekends. The rest of the days I will stay here. After this, Ching goes to her office where her marriage certificate accidentally falls from her hand, and her colleagues find out that she has gotten married. Here, Chen's friend Zhong Yu says to him, do you know? Manager Ching has gotten married. Now, hearing this, Chen secretly smiles. Here, a person named Mr. Xiao comes to meet Ching. It seems he is a customer of Ching's bank, and he likes Ching a little bit. Just then, Ching's colleagues come and tell Xiao, Ching already has a husband. Anyway, then Chen comes there, and then everyone goes to a restaurant together. After this, everyone starts asking about Chen, like what kind of house he lives in and what he does, all that. Then after a while, Chen goes to the washroom, seeing which Xiao also goes to the washroom. And after going there, he says, how good you are. You allowed your wife to come to a restaurant with another man. If it were me, I wouldn't do that. Then Chen says, that is why she married me, not you. Anyway, then Xiao says, by the way, one day she was constantly requesting me in front of my door to open it, so I had to let her come inside. Now hearing this, Chen immediately opens the tap forcefully, and the water coming out of that tap directly soaks Xiao's face. Then Chen says to Xiao, pay attention to your words. Here, Ching's colleagues say to her, why doesn't Chen buy a drink for everyone? But Ching does not want this to happen, so her colleagues say, if you do this, everyone will think that your husband cannot afford this. Just then, Chen arrives and says, I cannot afford this, and then he starts leaving from there. Now Ching gets angry at this because she did not want her colleagues to find out that Chen is not rich. So then Ching starts arguing with Chen. Ultimately, things get so bad between them that both go to the divorce office to get a divorce. And here they are given a 30-day cooling-off period. Then later, Chen goes to Zhong Yu. Actually, Zhong Yu works in Ching's bank, and he is Ching's assistant. During the conversation, he says to Chen, Ching went outside Xiao's house one day, probably to get a loan repayment, but Xiao deliberately did not open the door. Now from this, Chen thinks, the way Xiao said that day that he had let Ching come into his room, that whole thing is actually a lie. On the other side, Ching's colleagues are talking about Ching's husband not being rich, so Ching angrily takes all of them in front of Chen's house and shows them Chen's house. So, seeing all this, her colleagues enjoy it because they will be able to look down on Ching. On top of that, Xiao also says to Ching, your choice is so bad. Anyway, later we see Chen who is in a car. Just then, he meets Xiao on the road. Then, during the conversation, Xiao comes and sits in his car, and Chen drives the car very far away. Then he stops the car here and starts attacking Xiao with a knife. Then we see that Chen has only cut the sleeves of Xiao's shirt and has done nothing else. Now, because of this, Xiao starts shouting at him a lot, and Chen leaves from there. After this, we see Ching, who comes to Chen and says, this is my first marriage, so if I made any mistakes, sorry for that. Will you give me a second chance again? So Chen says, the way you are perfect. Now here, the scene goes back to 6 years ago, from which we find out that Chen already knew Ching because in this flashback, we see that Chen is standing at a place listening to Ching singing. Then the scene comes to the current time and Chen and Ching enter the house. Then at night, after arranging for Ching to sleep, Chen leaves Ching's room. After this, the next day, Chen prepares food well and serves it to Ching. And Ching also becomes very happy and starts eating the food. Later, we see Ching in her office where Chen also arrives, and just then, another employee accidentally drops a trophy present there. Now, everyone gets very panicked because of this. So here, Chen takes a full 2 hours to draw a 3D trophy on the wall, which looks exactly like a real trophy. Then An authority person of this company named Mr. Wu comes here, and he is very happy to see this trophy because it is his trophy and the company staffs have decorated it so well. On that side, Chen's grandpa's health is very bad, as if he is on his deathbed now. So Ching goes to meet him and spends a very good time with him. But then the next day, Chen's grandpa's health deteriorates a lot and he passes away. And Chen is completely broken. Now, on the other side, Ching's parents have told Ching, "We want to meet Chen," but Chen is still with his grandpa. Now Ching calls Chen, but Chen does not pick up that call. But then after a while, Chen calls her back, but by then, Ching's parents have become impatient. And Ching's mom says to Ching, "Divorce him." And because of all these things, Ching's mind gets upset and she gets angry at her parents. And also, she does not receive Chen's call. But in a while, Chen actually comes here and tells them, "My grandpa has just passed away." Hearing this, Ching's parents feel bad, and they start talking to Chen in a very soft way. Now later, Chen is leading his daily life, but he also remains a little upset about his grandpa's death. Since Chen Lianji's wife, Ms. Chen, is Chen's neighbor, she brings food cooked for Chen in return for which Chen says thank you to her. Anyway, on the other side, in the bank where Ching is an employee, many people from Chen's village have come to open savings accounts. Actually, after getting married to Chen, a good relationship has been formed between Ching and the people of Chen's village. Anyway, now seeing all of them in the bank, Ching is quite happy. Anyway, later we see a girl named Yun who, after getting a photo shoot done, comes and sits on a bench. Just then, her eyes fall on Chen, who is passing by a little distance away. Anyway, then Yun calls Jongyu and says, "Let's meet for lunch." So Jongyu says, Chen also... Actually, he was going to say that let's invite Chen too, but he does not complete this sentence. From here, it seems as if there might have been some relationship between Chen and Yun before this. Anyway, later we see that an old lady comes to Ching's bank who says to Jongyu, "You stole my money." So Jongyu says, "Yesterday you yourself gave me your details and I helped you fill out the form." But that lady says, Jongyu is lying. And in all this argument, Ching also arrives, and Ching tries to calm that lady down. But that lady slaps Ching. Even then, Ching tries to calm her. Then that lady is crying a lot, holding a paper and saying, "They have arrested my son." Then when Ching looks at that paper, she finds out that fraud has happened with this lady. This is a telecom fraud. Anyway, later when Ching returns home, she almost falls down after suddenly being pushed by something. Then she holds a table and stabilizes herself. And just then, Chen comes from behind and picks Ching up and shows her some pictures, which are Ching's pictures from a few years ago. Actually, Chen has framed these pictures very carefully, and seeing all this, Ching is very happy. Anyway, later we see in a flashback that there is an art exhibition-like scenario in a place, and here Chen is talking to Yun. Anyway, after a while, he comes and stands in the balcony from where he sees that Ching is going here and there on the ground floor clicking her photos, and a time comes when Ching looks upwards, and that expression of hers gets captured by the camera's auto-click option. Anyway, after this, the scene comes to the current time where actually Chen is telling this story to Jongyu. Also, here we find out that during college days, Chen had made an art-related structure which no one was buying. But then Ching had bought that work of art at that time. And somewhere, perhaps because of this, Chen started liking Ching a little bit. But he also thinks, for girls like Ching and Yun, not just marriage and love, but money is also very important for them. Anyway, later we see that Chen and Ching have come to Chen's house to celebrate Chinese New Year. Here, both go to the fish market to buy fish, and the market path is a little slippery. And since Ching is wearing heels, she is not able to walk properly. Anyway, then both start buying fish, and here Ching sees that the fish market owner is using a bag that looks exactly like her expensive bag. And that owner asks Ching, "From which street did you buy this bag?" And seeing all this, Chen starts laughing a lot. Anyway, later Chen and Ching have dinner together on New Year. After this, Chen gives an engagement ring to Ching. Also, Ching has also brought a ring for Chen. Now there are rings in both of their hands. Later, Ching is so happy that she clicks photos of her ring finger again and again. Anyway, later Chen says to Ching, "Today we will watch a movie." After this at night, Ching comes very well dressed up, but then she sees that Chen has taken her to a normal ground which is not a movie hall, and here, some other villagers are sitting and watching that movie. So Ching changes again, and this time, she comes in a sleeping outfit, and she is also wearing a face mask. And then Chen and Ching watch the movie sitting together. Then, after the movie ends, Ching falls asleep. So Chen goes to pick her up in his arms. And just then, Ching wakes up and extends her hand, after which Chen starts carrying her in his arms. Anyway, later we see that Chen has gone to his college, and there all the juniors greet him by giving flowers. Just then, when he enters a room, Yun is sitting there who has made a drawing of Chen. Anyway, here Yun says to him, "So many years have passed, did you wait for me?" To this, Chen tells her, "I am already married." And hearing this, Yun feels quite bad. Anyway, after this, Ching returns home after spending the whole day with her friends. Then she says to Chen in a slightly slow way, "Actually, first I and my friends watched a movie today. Then we went to play some board games." So Chen does not say much to this, just asks, "Is doing all this making you feel better now?" So Ching says, "Yes." Then Chen starts leaving, so Ching catches his hand. After this, Chen says to Ching, "Look, as a man, I feel like exercising some natural rights over you, and that can be very dark too." Now hearing all this, Ching places her hand in front of Chen's eyes, and then Ching kisses Chen, and then she says some romantic things, because of which perhaps Chen gets shy and leaves from here. Anyway, later, we see that Zhong Yu is calling Yun Sr., and Ching sees this. Actually, a few days ago, Ching had met Yun, and then during the conversation, Yun said, "I am going to give a surprise to my love, but the person who is my love is married right now." So now, in the current scene, Ching connects all these things and understands that Yun's love is actually Chen. And understanding this, she gets angry in her heart, but then when Ching goes to her car, she decides that she will not give up. So when Yun comes and sits in this car during the conversation, Ching says to Yun, "My and Chen's relation is actually very good." But here Yun says, "Whatever you say, it is very important for a couple to be intimate and have sex. This is an important thing, but I have heard that both of you maintain platonic love." Now hearing all this, Ching probably feels something. After returning home, she stays in her room for a while and then goes to Chen's bedroom with a pillow. Then she says to Chen, "By the way, I am not feeling cold right now." Then she opens her jacket and Chen also starts helping her open the jacket. After this, Ching feels a little shy, and after opening her full jacket, she goes straight under the bedsheet. So Chen smiles and goes and sits near her, and then starts kissing her. But then, when Chen starts going a little closer to Ching, then Ching lowers her head. Chen asks, "What happened now?" So Ching says, "I got my periods." So then Chen immediately gives Ching her jacket, and Ching runs to the washroom. Anyway, then the next day, Chen makes breakfast, and then he sits to eat breakfast with Ching. And then Ching is eating very heartily, but because she is eating a lot at once, she starts eating this food by hiding it a little from Chen, seeing which Chen smiles. Anyway, later we see that a client of Ching named Master Tang is saying to Ching, "My client has said, I will pay you some amount for my new work. Then I will be able to repay some of the debt money to your bank." Actually, here Tang's client is none other than Yun. And then Master Tang shows a diagram to Ching and says, "Ching, ask Chen once if he can help me in this diagram's work or not." Then at night, we see that Tang messaged Yun. "Ching just told me my husband has agreed to help in this work." Anyway, later Ching and Chen are in the car. Now Chen is driving the car. Then when the traffic signal comes, he stops the car. And seeing this, Ching gets very angry and says, "What was the need to stop the car seeing the signal? This one thing of yours can consume 30 seconds of my career." Now hearing this, Chen feels very bad, and by fighting like this, Ching's mood also remains a little off. After this, we see that Chen goes to Tang's house and is helping him in the designing work. Now after this, we see a scar on Chen's hand. And here we are shown in a flashback that when Chen was making a design on a wooden piece in childhood, suddenly his hand got hurt, and such a scar came on it. So now, when he goes to work on the wooden piece of Tang's house, then he remembers this and he stops working on that wooden piece. Anyway, at night when Ching returns home, then Chen makes food for her and serves her food. Now then, the mood of both of them returns to normal mode. But then Ching sees that a bowl is kept on the table where a crack line is visible. Now Ching thinks that perhaps Yun has left this bowl here because actually keeping a crack in bowls is a different kind of art design, and Yun is also an artist. So Ching asks Chen about this. So Chen says, "Yun gave this to me to fix, but I won't have time. So you return this to her." Now Ching says a bit angrily, "You return it yourself. And today I have some work, so I will stay in the guest room." Anyway, later we see that Chen is in front of Tang, and he does not want to work on wooden things. So Tang explains to him, "When I had no money, no one helped me. But then Ching is such a girl who, by trusting me, has given me a loan of a lot of money through the bank. So I need your help very much." But Chen, not giving importance to his words, starts leaving from here. And before leaving, he says this, "It is fine that my wife has done so much for you, but do not use her name to create a threat for me." And then Chen leaves from here. Now later Ching comes to Chen and says, "Why didn't you help Tang? It means I am not important to you. You know, if Tang cannot repay this loan, what will happen to me?" After this, Ching sees a design lying on the table. She understands seeing this design that Chen has a design made to help Teng, but he is not giving it to Teng because he does not want to help Ching. So seeing all this, Ching leaves from here. Then Yun comes here who talks to Chen about this. So Chen says, I have already given the copy of my design to Teng. It's just that I didn't want to make this wooden design myself. But I had to help an artist like Teng, and I have done that. Now during this, Ching is returning home, but then she sees Yun and Chen together, and she straight away sends a divorce message to Chen. Now later, Ching is driving a car, and during this, she calls Chen, but just then, her vision starts becoming blurry, and she has an accident. Then when she is in the hospital, Chen comes running to her. Then the doctor says, we do not know yet what has happened to you, but to check whether this is a brain disease or not, you will have to get an MRI. Anyway, Ching gets very scared and feels that she is going to die. Now after this, some conversation happens between Chen and Ching. And here, a misunderstanding gets cleared where Ching finds out that actually, while working on wooden art, a scar came on Chen's hand, and for this reason, he did not want to do woodwork right now. But Chen says that he has helped Teng by giving the design, and Chen also clears that he has no closeness with Yun. Now, after all this, both go to the doctor where the doctor says Ching has just had a cross-eye issue, which is not a big deal. Just she will have to take proper rest and spend a little less time on the phone. Anyway, after this, we see Ching in her bank. Here, Jungyu comes and gives her a bill and says, this is Teng's deposit bill. He has paid 100,000 yuan. On this, Ching says, but depositing so much money at once is a strange thing. Anyway, later Chen and Ching are walking by the lakeside, and just then Yun arrives there. Actually, she is now living near Chen's house. So, seeing Yun, Chen goes home, and Ching comes in front of Chen. Then Yun asks Ching, will you play a board game? Then both go inside the house and sit together. Now, since the board game shops are closed, both have normal conversation where Ching asks Yun, why have you started living near us? So to this, Yun says, I am living here so that I can see your broken marriage closely. Anyway, the next day, everyone goes for a picnic, and here Ching, to show off to Yun, calls Chen honey. Then Chen also feeds Yun with his hands. And seeing all this, Yun does not like it at all. Anyway, after this, we see that Chen is alone in the house, and then his brother Chung arrives. He says, we have let you stay here for many days. Now the time has come that this house should be returned to its owner. By the way, your wife must be earning a very good amount in the bank, so you can definitely give the money that you will have to pay in exchange for staying here. Anyway, later we see Chen and Ching in a room. Here we find out that years ago, Chen had recorded a song sung by Ching, and now he is playing that same song. So Ching is surprised that Chen has recorded the song sung by her. Anyway, then a scene from 6 years ago is shown where Ching is in the same art exhibition center where she had gone earlier, and she is roaming around in her own way and clicking photos. After this, she comes into a room where an art auction is going on. And here we also find out that today is Ching's birthday, and today is winter solstice. On top of that, the model that Chen has made, its name itself is Winter Solstice. Now we see that Ching buys this model, and from afar, Chen sees this. Now, since Ching has bought this model, a message goes to Chen's phone that payment is done, and another message goes to his phone where Happy Birthday Ching is written. So later, Chen leaves a Happy Birthday Ching message near that Winter Solstice model. And then a time comes when Ching is singing a song to herself, which Chen secretly records. Anyway, the scene comes to the current time where after hearing all this, Ching understands that Chen also wanted this marriage from before. Anyway, after this, both kiss and spend a romantic moment together. Anyway, later we see that Ching is taking away the winter solstice made by Chen when Cheng comes and starts checking this model. He says, look at this. It broke easily at this spot, so this is a defected model. Ching says this happened because at that time Chen's hand was injured. Just then, Chen arrives here and asks Chung, what are you doing here? Anyway, in all this, a bit of a fight happens between Chen and Chung, from which Ching understands that Chung is not a good brother. Anyway, after this, we see that Chen is washing Ching's hair. After this, Chen wraps a towel on Ching's head. Then Ching says, it seems some of my new hair has grown. And then during the conversation, Chen gives a forehead kiss to Ching. Later, we see that Ching is doing overtime and Xiaofei is watching her from afar. Now later, when Ching is going to leave the office, then she sees that the main gate is locked. Perhaps Fei has locked it and left. Then Ching calls her roommate to come and take her from here. Then we see that Chen is going by the road where he sees Ching from afar. Then he comes to save her, but by then, Ching's roommate arrives and saves her and takes her away. And by the time Chen reaches here, Ching has gone. Then Chen calls Zhongyu and says, call Ching's colleagues and ask when they logged out today. Then later we find out that Fei only had locked Ching. After this, we see that Faye is entering his car when just then a car comes at speed and almost passes near Faye. Then the scene cuts, and we see Chen and Faye coming out of the police station, where Faye says to Chen, "This was not an accident. This was like an intentional murder." Then Faye says, "After all, how much more will you do to save your wife?" Anyway, just then, Chung arrives there and plays a voice recording to Faye, where Faye is talking about framing Chen. Actually, Faye had talked about these things with Chung because then Chung had convinced Faye, "I do not like my brother Chen at all." Anyway, here Chung remains in support of Chen. Later, Ching tells Cheng, "Because I did not want Chen to be tense about me for this reason, I had not told Chen. Faye locked me yesterday." Anyway, later Chung comes and says to Chen, "I can help you with your financial issue, but there is only one condition. You will have to leave this Jing garden. After all, there is no blood connection between you and our family. Grandpa adopted you, so you can surely do what I said." But Chen does not agree to do this. Later, Chen joins a new office. Actually, Chen has done this to provide financial help to the family. Now where Chen has joined, Chung is present there as Chen's senior. So Chung pressured Chen to drink more. Now from afar, Yoon sees Chen here, and she calls him outside to talk. Then when Chen goes outside, Yoon says to him, "What are you doing here?" Actually, Yoon is offended by Chen because Chen has started working in an office, leaving his passion for artwork. On top of that, Yoon also feels bad about the fact that Chen is doing so much to reduce the stress of Ching's work. But Chen says, "I have become almost 30 years old. I also have some responsibilities." Anyway, later Chen and Ching are walking together where Chung sees Ching from afar. Now Chung wants to tell Ching about Chen, how Ching has asked Chen to leave his house, and how Chen needs financial help right now. But Chen tries so that Chung cannot talk about these things with Ching at all. But ultimately, Ching takes Chen in the car and goes to talk to Chung. And then some conversation happens between Chung and Ching, which is not told to us for now. Anyway, after this, we see from the next day that Ching is not talking well to Chen. She has blocked Chen on WeChat. So Chen asks, "Did my brother tell you that I have started doing a job behind your back? And is that why you are angry at me?" On this, Ching says, "I will get angry when I have something to lose. I have nothing to lose." Anyway, after this, we see that Cheng is coming to Chen, and Chen asks Cheng, "What did you say to Ching after all?" On this, Chung says, "I just said how bad you are and you can do anything to achieve your goal." Here we are shown in a flashback that in childhood, Grandpa had asked Chen and Chung to make 2 small wooden house models. Then in the evening, Chung had given Chen his house to make and had gone to the internet cafe himself. Now, while making house models, Chung's house model fell from Chen's hand once. Then he got very scared because Grandpa had said that when he returns from winter solstice, he wants these 2 models to be ready. And on top of that, Chung has scared Chen by saying that if Chen cannot make this model, then Grandpa will abandon him. So thinking all this, Chen ruins Chung's house model very badly. And from afar, Chung sees this. Then the scene comes to the current time where Chung says, "Chen, in reality, you do not want to show your monstrous side to anyone and you are afraid to express your wishes correctly." Now Chen says, "And why do you remind me every time that earlier I used to live in Grandpa's house and now I live in Ching's house?" Saying this, Chen starts breaking all the models, and then a fight starts between Chen and Chung when just then Chung says, "I haven't said anything to Ching, but if she sees you fighting like this, will she ever like you again?" Just then Chen looks towards the door and Ching is standing there watching all this. And seeing this, Chen becomes absolutely quiet. Then the scene cuts here, and there we see that Jong-yu and Yoon are together. Jong-yu says, "Brother Chen has been abandoned by his family, so I have applied warm colors in this place so that he can heal from this." And also Jong-yu keeps a birthday cake on the table. Then Yoon says, "Actually, I should have installed a CCTV. If the moment Chen was abandoned by his family had been live-streamed, it would have felt so terrible to watch." To this, Jong-yu says, "Women are quite scary." Anyway, after this, we see Chen and Ching there. Here, Chen is very scared and thinks what will be Ching's reaction after seeing him fighting. But Ching talks to him very normally, and then she says, "Look, if you broke an artwork in childhood, it is not like killing someone, right? And anyway, we both complete each other. So let's return home." Anyway, after this, everyone, that is Chen, Ching, Yun, Jong-yu, and in fact, Chung too, forgets all the bad things and goes to have dinner together. Here Yun says, "By the way, when Chen was dating me, his career was most important to him. Now, I don't know how his priority has changed for another girl." To this, Ching says, "I think when it comes to chasing a man, if a woman goes to that man and loses to him, it is not a good thing. It is better to lose to another woman in this matter because that is more acceptable." And hearing this, Chen starts smiling a little bit. Anyway, we are shown in a flashback that Yoon, Cheng, Jong-yu, and Ching are sitting together. Here, Chung reveals, In childhood, I myself destroyed that artwork by throwing it in water. And telling the reason for this, he said, actually, in puberty, boys seek attention by bullying others. And then we find out that actually Chung had felt bad somewhere, and he had left that house and Grandpa for Chen, because Chen had a great fear of being abandoned. So by Chung doing this, Chen could feel better. Anyway, after hearing everything, everyone decides that because Chen has a fear of abandonment, when Chen feels that his wife, friends, brother, everyone has abandoned him, only then everyone will return to him one by one. And this will be his birthday surprise. Anyway, after this, the scene comes to the current time. And here Chen finds out about this plan. Anyway, after a while, we see that suddenly a cat comes to Cheng, seeing which he gets very scared, and also he almost falls on top of Yun. And in all this, his watch gets stuck in Yun's hair. Then he gets that hair unstuck. Then Chung angrily says to Chen, "Has your affection for cats and dogs still not gone?" Then Chen says, "You want these pets to disappear just like you wanted me to disappear before." Now Chung says, "There is nothing like that. Actually, a dog had bitten someone in our community then, and for this reason, people had complained to the administration there. And then the administration people came and removed all the dogs and cats from there." So Zhang Yu says, "Chen, I don't think Chung removed the dogs back then because he himself is so afraid of dogs." Now, after this, Chen and Chung are in the kitchen. Here Chung says to Chen, "A grandpa called me before he died. He asked me to come back home." Here we see in a flashback that Chung is talking to Grandpa on the phone. Here Grandpa says to him, "If it is time for me to die, then you come back. You have to return and become Chen's family so that after I am gone, he never feels that he has been abandoned." And then hearing these words from Grandpa's mouth, Chung also became quite emotional. So from this, it is understood that actually Chung cares for Chen, but he does not show it. Now after this, Yun, Qing, and Zhang Yu start singing a song. Their singing is quite out of tune. So seeing this, Chung says to Chen, "None of these are normal." So Chen says to Chung, "You are also not normal." Then Chung says to Chen, "So your wife's voice is like this." And hearing this, Chen smiles. And then he says, "Tonight she is giving her best." Anyway, later Chen, Cheng, and Zhang Yu sit together and talk about long-distance marriage. On the other side, Qing, Yun, and Qing's sister also talk about long-distance marriage. Now here, where Chen, Cheng, and Zhang Yu are sitting is actually an internet cafe. And suddenly a celebrity named Tu is seen here, seeing whom Zhang Yu goes to click photos with her. And after a while, he posts these photos on social media. And then Qing and the rest of the people with her see these photos and think that long-distance marriage is a bad idea because men get excited seeing girls like this. Anyway, here in the internet cafe, Tu sees Chen's game and says to him, "You play so well, will you teach me this?" Just then, Zhang Yu says to Tu, "I will teach you, and all of us will stay here for the whole night." Now at first, Chen does not agree to stay here for the whole night, but then Chung whispers to Chen, "I have some study materials. Maybe I can give them to someone." And hearing this, Chen says yes to stay in the cafe for the whole night. And just then, Yun, Qing, and Qing's sister come and knock on these men. After this, Chung tries to explain to these girls that Chen is bearing the cost of staying in this cafe for Chung and Zhang Yu present here. Then Chen also tries to explain that Chung's main intention was coming here. Now hearing Chung's words, Qing says to Chen, "I said I would support you, so should I give you some more money for your midnight snack now?" Now Yun tells Tu in a way that these three boys are losers, as she says. Chen doesn't have much money, and he is a farmer. Cheng even has to share instant noodles to eat. So hearing all this, Tu gets angry and leaves from here. Then these three girls decide that they will play games the whole night. Then the next morning, everyone is leaving the cafe. And then behind them, Chung is leaving the cafe holding his head. Anyway, later we find out that Qing's official transfer is happening. So she starts packing her bag inside her bank. Then she starts remembering the memories spent in this bank. She becomes a little emotional. Then Chen comes to receive her. And then the scene cuts right here. After this, 1 month passes. Then we see that a fair is going on where Zhang Yu is doing photography. Chung is also present here. And on that side, Chen is working on his project with a client. On the other side, Qing is giving her presentation. Now since Qing's transfer has happened, Qing and Chen are currently maintaining a long-distance relationship. Now we see that everyone is sitting to eat food. And just then, Qing's sister is calling Qing. But Qing does not pick up the call. Then Chen shows everyone his chats with Qing. In them, it is written that Qing's meeting is going on right now. Now, since Qing and Chen talk by messaging, Yun says, "Are both of you maintaining your long-distance relationship like this?" Then Chung says, "I saw in Qing's last post that they went to eat with a young man. I hope it doesn't happen that Qing has gone out with him today." Now hearing this, Chen throws something at Chung and hits him, and everyone laughs a lot at this action of Chen's. Anyway, then Yun says to Chung, "Don't think of women like men. Building a career is more important for women than cheating. Especially for a girl like Ching, it's important to do well in her career." Then we see that while on one side, Ching is sitting in her office, on the other side, Chen is playing with his puppies. And perhaps both are missing each other very much. Anyway, later on Yun's suggestion, Chen calls Ching and starts talking to her. And then everyone presents some romantic lines in front of Chen and wants Chen to say these lines to Ching. Like one of these lines is, "Baby, I lost you tonight." Now Chen goes to say this line to Ching, but ultimately instead of this line, he says, "I lost in the game today." And hearing this, everyone leaves from here being annoyed, and Chen starts smiling. Anyway, after this, Chung says to Chen, "Ask your wife if there is any other lady like her who is so good." Just then Yun comes and says, "I can arrange a good date for you, but for that your facial features should be good, you should know how to cook, and you should know how to take care of yourself." So Chung asks, "Are you giving me some hint?" So Yun says, "I am giving you this hint that you do not deserve it." Just then Zhongyu says, "These qualities are in me." So is Yun hinting toward me? So Yun says, "Both of you are quite childish." After this, a message comes to these people that the brand Chen had worked with has presented Chinese traditional designs very badly on the website for publicity. So Chen goes to talk to the people of that brand about this. But the brand member says to Chen, "This is not an insult to Chinese tradition, but it is a humorous side of art." But Chung and Yun do not like this. So that member says, "We will present this design just like this." And after presenting it this way, a lot of revenue has been generated. So, if you do not agree with this, then you and the people working on the old style of art will have to pay a huge compensation. And leaving from here, Chen decides that he will fight against the people of this brand. And he asks Yun, "Will you also be involved in this fight or not?" So Yun says, "I am much richer than you. So if you want to take this challenge, then I will definitely take this challenge." After this, Chung takes Chen to his stepdad so that Chen gets some help in this current issue. Then Chung's stepdad says, "Look, Chen, you will not be able to win this case, so you pay that compensation to them." Chung asks, "Will you give so much money?" Then his stepdad says, "Yes, okay, we are family, so I will pay it." Now Chen asks, "What can I do for you?" So the stepdad says, "Wow, it is good that you understood. Look, I like the garden you decorated very much." And hearing this, Chung asks surprised, "What? That garden?" Now Chung does not like this, but his stepdad says to Chen, "Give me that garden. I will put it on rent. Moreover, your house can also be put on rent." But Chen does not like this. And then when Chen goes to refuse Chung's stepdad for this thing, then Chung's stepdad stops him and says, "Think about it and give me an answer later." So ultimately, Chen is not able to say anything about this right now. Then later, Ching and Chen are in the house, and Chen happily picks Ching up in his arms, then both sit and talk a lot. Later, we see that Ching has gone to an office to sell her property. Actually, here we see in a flashback that since Chen needs money right now because he is going to challenge a big brand, Zhongyu says to him, "Ching has a house and a car. They can be sold." So Chen says to him, "Do not even think about that." And from afar, Ching hears this. Then the scene comes to the current time, and for this reason, Ching is busy selling her property. On the other side, Chen asks the elderly people of his village to file a case against that brand. But none of these people agree. They say, "We have become old now, and now we do not want to be insulted by filing any case." And saying this, they leave from here. But one grandma signs Chen's document to file this case. Later, Ching and Yun are standing near the lake, and ducks are swimming in that lake. Just then, Chung arrives here and starts throwing stones in the lake, which scares Yun. Actually, in this way, Chung is seeking Yun's attention. Now after this, when Ching and Yun start going towards Chung and Chen, then Chung indirectly asks Chen, "Will you help me?" On which Chen says to Chung, "Then you pay for this year's cat and dog food." So Chung agrees. And for this reason, Chen picks Ching up in his arms and takes her to the side so that Chen can leave Yun and Chung alone. Then suddenly, a puppy arrives, for which reason Chung catches Yun. And Ching and Chen secretly watch this, and Ching says, "These two have hugged." After this, Yun moves Chung away and says, "You did this intentionally, right? What is your age that you are afraid of a dog?" Then Yun takes Chung with her to a studio-like place and starts moving towards him. On this, Cheng gets scared and says, "Do not do all this here, someone will see us." Then Yun closes the door and says, "Now no one will see us." Then she moves towards Cheng, and at the end she sits in a chair and says, "Touch this dog. There is no need to be so afraid of animals. They are very cute." Then Chung touches a puppy a little bit, but then he moves his hand away. And he keeps doing this repeatedly, seeing which Yun starts laughing. Later, when Yun and a house dealer tell Ching on video call, "The new house bought by you is about to be sold," Chen hears this. Then, after a while, he says to Yoon, being a girl, you must understand how important this house is for Ching, and this house will not be sold. Now, hearing this, after a while, Yoon calls Ching and says, there was a time I definitely liked your husband. And saying this, she cuts the call. Later, Ching comes to Chen and says, I heard that you are selling your Jing garden for me. Then she takes out the vacuum cleaner and starts cleaning this garden. Then she says, anyway, this garden is going to belong to someone else in 2 days, so why don't we stop cleaning this garden? And the disadvantage of having such a garden is that it has to be cleaned so much. My 2-room house is better than this. Then Chen says, anyway, Ching, perhaps I will lose this case. On this, Ching says, I will support you. After this, the hearing of this case starts in the court where Chen's chance of winning is almost 0. So now in the hearing, when Chen is given a chance to speak, then he says, this brand has shown Chinese tradition through strange images. But many people have been doing this Chinese craftsmanship from the age of 15 until today at the age of 80. And they do not even get much money for it, but their work is very perfect. But I am sure that in the future, you will definitely understand the value of this Chinese tradition. After this, when that brand member is coming out of the court, then one by one, villagers come and say to that member, we will not sell our products to you. Now, after this, the hearing is given in the court that the contract that this brand has signed with Chen, that contract will be terminated, and this brand will have to return all the goods for delivery. Also, Chen will have to return all the money that this brand has paid for handicrafts. After this, we see that Chen and his whole group are looking very happy. Then Chung goes to catch fish, but he starts catching fish very fearfully, so Yun comes to him and says, are you catching fish or doing some embroidery? Anyway, after this, we see that Ching and Jongyu are singing out of tune. Then Ching's sister also starts singing, so Yun says to Ching, this proves that both of you are sisters. Later, everyone is a little bit sad because Chen's house will now either have to be sold or put on rent so that Chen can pay the compensation for this case. There Yun and Cheng are. Here they are also a little sad, but then Yun goes and starts kissing Cheng, and this becomes a very romantic moment for both of them. After this, we see that some people come to take measurements of Chen's house, and then after a while, Chen and Cheng come inside, and then Chen tells everyone, Cheng's stepdad has said that he will not take this house, he just wants both of us to build a nice hotel for him, and Jing Garden will just be a free sightseeing spot for tourists. Now after this, a scene from sometime later is shown. Here we find out that Ching's official transfer is going to happen to another city. So then later, Ching goes to the same art exhibition center where she had gone many years ago. Now here, many of her known people have left messages for her. We will wait for your return to this city because just now your official transfer is going to happen. So Ching reads these messages with heavy heart. Then 2 years pass and Ching returns back to her city. And in this happiness, everyone is eating food with heavy heart. Then suddenly it starts snowing and everyone gets very excited. In this snowfall, Jongyu and Ching's sister are playing. Meanwhile, Chung says to Yun, will you marry me? And watching this view, Ching and Chen are sitting holding each other's hands. And with this, the happy ending of this drama